So we're doing trigonometric function on exponential functions, right? So, and I taught you how to use trigonometric functions. I'm going to leave a link of that video on the description box of this video, how to use trigonometric function. So let's look at this question, how to deal with questions like this as regard to a function of function, right? Function of function, right? So first things first, I taught you the steps. While we're doing exponential equations, right? I taught you the steps on what to use. So let's get to this. Step one, it remains the same, right? The same thing. So step one, let u be equal to what? 4x squared plus 6x minus 2. And then we differentiate with respect to u. So du over dx becomes what? Differentiate u with respect to x. That becomes what? 8x, right? Plus what? 6. So we're done with step one. This is all about step one, right? So what's step two? Step two is that we bring the formula, but replace this with u, right? So instead of saying y is equal to sine what? 4x squared plus 6x minus 2, we'll replace all of this with a single u because we have replaced u with this. So we'll go back and replace this with u by saying that means we're replacing all of this now with u. We already know that this is u. Replaced with another variable, that is u, right? So we differentiate y with respect to u. So by saying that, you can say dy over du will give us what? If we differentiate sine u, what are we going to get? We're going to get cos u. And of course, I show you how to differentiate trigonometric functions. I said the easiest way of differentiating them, and I have this video. I will leave the link of that video to this one. I said first things first, start with sine, and then cos, and then tan, right? Let's say tan s, cos x, tan x, and the inverse of tan, cos, and sine. So what's the inverse of tan? Is cot s. How do I know? Look at the third letter, 1, 2, 3. That's t, which is this, right? And then for this is sec x, third letter, 1, 2, 3, c, cos, right? And then what? Cosec s, third letter, 1, 2, 3, that's sine, right? Arrange it in this order, and of course e raised to the power of x, right? Arrange them in order, and then what will become the derivative? If these are the functions, the derivative becomes what? First of all, put minus, and minus. I taught you all of this in the previous video. Then you do what? Then you carry this cos here, put cos here, and carry sine here, put sine here, sine x. Then what do? This fifth and sixth, number 5 and number 6, you bring them here, but you square them. So this one will come here as sec square x, and this one will come here as cosec square x. Right? So how do we get for this and this? You take the product of this one and this one. So for this is sec x tan x, and for this is product of this guy and this guy. So it's cosec x, then what? Cot s. Then for this guy, if you differentiate an exponential function, of course you're going to get the answer as an exponential function. So if this is the y, the dy over dx of it is this. Are you seeing? So if we have y as sine, if we want to differentiate sine, we're going to get cos x. And I showed you these are the order. I've done this video before. So look at this now. If we have y as sine, dy over du become cos u. Because if here is any other thing, if here is b, then dy over db is going to be what? Cos b, so on and so forth. Right? I've done this. So we have this. So we have du dx, right? And then we have our dy du. Then lastly, what do? Our step 3 is to bring the equation. And what's the formula for that? That dy over dx is dy over du times du over dx. And what should that be? What's our dy over du? Dy over du is cos u. So come here and put cos u times what? Du dx. Du dx 8x plus 6. And then we rearrange, right? So that our dy over dx becomes what? 8x plus 6 times what? Cos u. What's u now? Go back to u and put 4x squared plus what? Plus 6x minus 2. This is the answer. Simple answer to that. That's the answer, right? And of course, there are easier ways of doing this. I told you the easiest form of differentiating without going through the many steps. So what's the easiest form of doing this without going through a long step? You might be wondering, so what becomes the easiest step? I know I'm giving you this because we want to dive straight to exponential function as we go to this. So what do we do with this now? How do we get this using the simplest step? That's method 2. Let's call this our method 1. Solution method 1. Right? So what becomes the method 2 of this? Very simple. So method 2, our method 2 is simple. I said if we have y as sine what? Sine 4x squared plus 6x minus 2. First things first, take the derivative of this function, right? Derive this. So our dy dx is to derive this one first, differentiate this one first, right? So that becomes 8x plus what? 6. And then after you've differentiated it, differentiate this one. What do we have? Sine. If you differentiate sine, what do you have? It's going to be cos. We have cos of everything here. Cos what? 4x squared plus 6x minus 2. That's the simplest step. If you check, relate them, see that they are the same thing. Yes, they're the same thing. So look at this. You have 8x plus 6 plus 4x plus 6. So first things first, differentiate this. Haven't differentiated it, you differentiate the sign, which is cos, and replace what you have there. That's the easiest way of doing that.